Position, velocity, and acceleration functions. An apple is thrown up into the air. The height in feet above the ground at time t second is represented by f of t equals to negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 2. This is a position function. So what does that mean? That means initially when time is equals to 0, so we have f of t equals to 0 plus 2, which is equals to 2. So the 2 is in feet. So that means initially the apple is 2 feet above the ground. All right. So that stands for position. When time equals to a number, you tell me where the apple is, or I should say how far the apple is above the ground. The first question is asking find the velocity and acceleration function. So the velocity function, so velocity is f prime of t. You take the first derivative of the position function. So using power rule, you bring the 2 down, so you have a negative 10 t, and then the derivative of 20t is equals to 20. So this is your velocity function. And then acceleration is the second derivative of the position function. So that is the second derivative. So you would take the derivative based on the first derivative, right? So the derivative of f prime of t, that is equals to negative 10. So that answers question A. And then question B is find the instantaneous velocity. So when t is equals to 2, we have f prime of 2 equals to negative 10 times 2 and then plus 20, so that is equals to 0. What is the unit? The unit is feet per second. And then how about acceleration? For acceleration, f double prime, so when t is equals to 2, it doesn't matter what t equals to, the acceleration is negative 10. What's the unit? The unit is in feet per second, and there is a square. Why is this in feet per second square? This is based on the concept from average acceleration. So remember this, for average acceleration, we have the time interval is between A and B. So we use this, right? We use the velocity at time B minus velocity at time A divided by B minus A. Just like the y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, the velocity is in feet per second, and then the B minus A, that is the time minus time, the unit is in second. So feet per second multiply 1 over second, that is in feet per second square. So that's why the acceleration is in feet per second square. Okay, so moving on to C. C is how high does the apple go? So how high does the apple go? So for C, can you tell how high does part A tell you something? So for part A, this is 0, right? So we have the first derivative at 2 equals to 0. So actually I should erase this. And then based on part A, f prime of 2 equals to 0. So that means we have slope equals to 0. So that means when t is equals to 2, f has a horizontal tangent. So horizontal tangent. What is horizontal tangent? So for horizontal tangent, you have this. So let's say this is your y-axis, and then this is your x-axis. When t, this is t, and then this is the height. When t is equals to 0, the apple is 2 feet above the ground. So this is this parabola is the leading coefficient is negative 5. We have negative 5t squared. That tells me this is an upside down parabola that looks like this. That looks like this. And then at this point, we have a horizontal tangent. We have a horizontal tangent. So horizontal tangent when t is equals to 2. And that is also the maximum of the curve, the highest point of the curve. So the highest point means that is when t is equals to 2, the apple reaches to the maximum height. Now, they ask me how high does the apple go? How high? So when t is equals to 2, the problem is solved. But I have to say that this time we just got lucky. what if I ask you t equals to 3, t equals to 1, or t equals to 5? So when t equals to 1, 3, or 5, the first derivative is not equals to 0. So if I give you another number, that means you are not able to say that based on A, we found the maximum or we found the horizontal tangent. This one we just got lucky. So what if part A and part A that doesn't even exist? So how do you know that at x equals to 2 without just trying numbers, without trying different numbers until you get the derivative equals to 0? So here is how. So what you have to do is you mention the first derivative one more time. So that is f prime of t equals to negative 10t plus 20. That is what you got, right? So we are looking for how high does the apple go. When the apple reaches to the maximum, we have a horizontal tangent, so therefore we have a slope equals to 0. So we have to set the first derivative equals to 0. So this 0 means slope equals to 0 at the horizontal tangent. The slope is equals to 0, and then you solve for t, and then clearly t is equals to 2 seconds. All right, and then how do you prove that this is the maximum? How come you don't say this is the minimum? How do you know this is the maximum? So here is how you draw a number line, and then the minimum time is 0, and then we have a 2, t equals to 2, and then we don't worry about when t is less than 0. So at this point we have two intervals. The first interval is from 0 to 2. The second interval is from 2 to positive infinity, and then you take a test value. All right, test value. Just grab a number within the interval. Pick something easy, like t equals to 1, t equals to 3. Or you can pick, for the second interval, you can pick t equals to 1 million. But when you plug in 1 million to the derivative, you get big numbers to handle. So when t is equals to 1, you have to find out what f prime of 1 is. So f prime of 1, when t is equals to 1, we have a negative 10 plus 20. So that is, we have a negative 10 times 1 plus 20. I don't care what that is. All I need to know is that is greater than 0. So when you plug in f prime of 3, you will get a less than 0. So greater than 0 for the derivative, that means increasing. Less than 0 means decreasing. And then when x is equals to 2, when x is equals to 2, the slope is equals to 0. So for the slope, we are going up and then going down. At x equals to 0, we have a horizontal tangent. So that tells me this is the maximum point, the highest point of the parabola. So at this point, the apple is on the tallest, is in the highest position. All right, so we have a maximum when t is equals to 2. So how high does the apple go? Well, when t is equals to 2, what do you have? You have f of 2 equals to negative 5 times 2 squared plus 20 times 2, and then plus 2. And then this is a negative, what? This is a 4, right? So negative 20, and then plus 40, and then plus 2. So this is 20 plus 2, so that is, which is 22 feet. So this is the highest position, is 22 feet off the ground. Why do I plug this into f of t? Because I am looking for a position. When you're looking for a position, you plug it into f of t. When you are looking for velocity or slope, you plug it into f prime. When you are looking for acceleration, you plug it into the double prime. Okay, so this is the answer, 22 feet above the ground. Last question. The last question is, how long is the apple in the air? So from the beginning to the end, so right here, from the beginning to the end, I should follow the blue color. So from the beginning to the end, how long? Oh, this is a highlighter, huh? From the beginning to the end, so from t equals to 0, so time t, from when t equals to 0, so f of 0, that is 2 feet above the ground, right? And then when 2 is equals to a number, you have f of that number that is equals to 0 feet off the ground. So at the beginning is 2. When the apple drops back to the ground, that is 0 feet off the ground. So from time 0 to time what? That is what the question is asking, right? So initially, this is initially. and then this is 0 feet above the ground. So what you have to look for is you have to set the position equals to 0. So negative 5t squared plus 20t and then plus 2. This is what the function is, right? So plus 2, you have to set that equals to 0. 0 feet means 0 feet off the ground. And then this one you have to use quadratic formula. All right, quadratic formula. So that is t equals to that will be do you still remember this? This is a quadratic equation, right? So this is a, and then this is b, and then this is c. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So you have t equals to that will be a negative 20 plus or minus 20 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times 2, and then divided by 2 times negative 5. So that gives you 2t. So the first one is t equals to negative 0.098. The second one is t equals to 4.098. This is in second. This is the answer that we are looking for. So when t is equals to 0, the apple is 2 feet above the ground. When t is equals to that 4.098 seconds, the apple is exactly on the ground. So the apple takes that many seconds to go up and then drops back to the ground. How about the negative? The negative, don't worry about it, because time cannot be negative. I'm not saying the negative is wrong. Based on the quadratic formula, we have two answers because this is a parabola. If you consider the entire domain, the parabola, there are two x-intercepts if you consider the entire domain, but this problem is talking about time. Time cannot be negative, so therefore we just ignore the negative. When t is equals to that, the apple is on the ground. Alright, so that is the end of this video. This is a pretty popular exam problem. Hopefully you study this for your exam. If you like it, give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next lesson. Signing out.